Hello, Georgian Young Greens. My name is Thomas Waites and I'm co-chair of European Green Party and today working in my job as member of the European Parliament. I'm speaking to you, to your Congress that you're holding now. You're a member organization of FYG and CDN, which is our youth organization, and we welcome very much that you try to get organized and do a step further. There's a green wave rolling over Europe. One country after the other includes Greens in their government. One country after the other sees successes on the local level, on the regional level. But why is it so? Well, it's the citizens demanding real change. And the change is about the climate crisis. We're witnessing the outputs of climate crisis, the effects of climate crisis every single year. Droughts, extreme weather, hail, serious problems for our agriculture, but also serious problems for our citizens, especially for the elderly people that have a hard time dealing with the heat stress in the summer. And we can only tackle the climate crisis if we substantially and fast remove CO2 from the atmosphere and stop emitting CO2. We have to get climate neutral until 2050. At least this is what we here in the European Union try. And why does it need green parties to enforce that? Well, if you look into all these governments, the green parties here in Europe are only representing citizens and voters' issues and demands. We're not paid by industry, we're not paid by lobbies, we're simply doing what citizens on the streets demand. Maybe you remember the Fridays for Future movement. This was the strongest political movement before COVID time. This actually had a huge impact also here into the European Parliament, on European governments, within the European Union and outside of the European Union. But more than that, we're fighting for ecological justice wherever we are, whether it's about mining projects or whether it's about water quality. Especially air quality is a problem in many countries, especially in the former Eastern Europe. If you look at the Balkans, but also countries like Bulgaria, but I'm sure also in Georgia, this is a big issue. Many of these countries still produce heat and electricity mainly from coal. And not that coal is only a fossil fuel which we have to get rid of. It's also emitting a lot of sulfur, it's emitting a lot of fine dust, which gives the lungs of our kids and of our citizens a hard time. Also here, the transition to renewable energy is urgently needed. But going a step further, it's not just about ecology. Because ecology and justice, I mean social justice for citizens, is directly linked to each other. Let's come back to pollution. Well, which citizens suffer most from pollution? Well, it's the ones that have the least money, that have the flats that cannot afford expensive flats somewhere in the outskirts of the city, but have to take the flat next to the heavy traffic roads, or in the areas of the city which are close to industry or the coal power plants. And it's also, if we want to find solutions, we cannot only talk about the big industrial complexes. Yes, they have to change too, but actually we have to look into how we can combine ecological transition and a social justice transition at the same time. What do I mean with that? If we say, let's change to renewable energies, I'm not focusing primarily on huge hydropower plant projects. No, we are focusing on solar energy on every single roof. May it be solar energy to produce heat or even to cool your house, or may it be solar energy to produce electricity, which would make every house and roof owner a small little energy producer. This would create an income for thousands and tens of thousands of people. And yes, sure, the industry is not so happy about that proposal, because that would mean they give out of their hands the monopoles on energy production. Or we're talking about an insulation offensive, insulating houses. I mean, for both matters, not to lose too much heat in the winter time, but also not to need to have a too high need to cool your houses in summertime. And insulating houses, again, helps citizens because it reduces their energy bill, and it helps local economy because it's not huge international, multinational companies that do house insulations. It's your plumber, it's your workers next door. And it creates a lot of jobs in the region, which also creates an income and helps the society to build up. And this may be the special thing about the Greens, that we don't only look at one issue and in a silo and then the next issue in a silo, but we understand that all of these questions of social justice, environmental justice, but also transparency, rule of law, anti-corruption, all these topics are heavily linked to each other, and you can only find proper solutions if you tackle all of them at the same time. So we hope very much for Georgia that you're able to build up a strong movement, include a lot of people, especially young people, because Georgia needs green forces. It needs green representation. And as you're heading to do that, up to now in the framework of FYGs, of our Green Youth Organization, but who knows where you're heading to. We want to give you our shout out and our thumbs up for the project that you have, and that you may have a good result in your Congress. We can't travel in the moment, otherwise I would have loved to participate and to join your Congress, but I will follow up with that in the moment the COVID crisis madness is over. So all the best to you, you can count on us, we're proud of you.